listening to the Non-Del Influencers Podcast, brought to you by First Funding. Join host Matt Coles as he delivers powerful conversations to help non-delegated lenders succeed and scale in today's market.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome back to the latest episode of Non-Del Influencer Podcast. Super excited today to have Jeff Walton with Ingenius, CEO and co-founder. Jeff, thank you very much for the time. I appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Matt.
Yeah, and I know you're in Scottsdale today, but I'm sure your travel schedule has been full over the last quarter, and you're already probably putting a button on the first quarter of 2026 travel. What does that look like for you?
Well, yeah. So first quarter, obviously some conferences coming up. December 26th, though, actually we leave for New Zealand for a couple of weeks. So that's more on the personal side. Actually,
nice.
Only on the personal side. But yeah, just taking the time over the holidays to duck out and be gone the last week of the year. And then, of course, first week of the new year, which isn't always as productive. So I felt it was a good time. But then conferences really start more in February, right? Independent mortgage bankers. You've got TMC, a couple different things, and it starts and goes through April, May.
You know, you've been in the industry for a while. I have too, and you kind of get into a pattern of going to the same conferences every year. Is there a new one that's on your radar in the year ahead yet? Or anything that's changing in your travel schedule that you're excited about on a go-forward basis?
You know, one of the things that I think has kind of come on in the last couple of years, it hasn't been a long-term traditional conference circuit, but Housing Wire's done a great job with their gathering, and then also they've got 3 different one-day deals that they have that I've found to be extremely productive and some of them are very intimate, and you learn a lot. It's very educational, and we just recently signed a 3-year partnership deal with them to provide them data, and so I love going to those, and those are all relatively new as part of the ecosystem, and I think they've been very effective.
Yeah, the Housing Wire, they have one in Dallas for mortgage banking. It's nice and convenient. It's literally right across the street from my office in Dallas. And one of the things they do really well is they also have a dinner the night before with some invited guests, and I find it just a very delivers a ton of value for me, especially just trying to. I've been on this side of the business for, I'm only going on my second year. I was in the TPO side for 20 years, but sitting down at an intimate dinner and just absorbing all the information and knowledge from the people that are invited guests to those dinners has been really invaluable for my growth on this side of it.
Yeah. And then they do one on economics, and they do one on technology as well. And then the gatherings are a big one. And so they do a great job, but maybe we'll see you there in February. Yeah,
absolutely. And then I'm sure, I think, we may have crossed paths at the California Mortgage Bankers Association, the Innovator conference that they have. I think that's typically in August or September, if I'm not mistaken. So why don't you kind of give us a high-level overview of what you're working on today with regards to Ingenius and what you guys are providing today?
Well, we just released Ingenius 2.0 in October. We were working on it for 9 months, and that was a complete rebuild of our UI UX of our platform. Our North Star was always accuracy of the data. D data is extremely messy, and we use that D data with MLS data, NMLS data, HMDA data, and then we do loan officer recruiting, broker prospecting, and also realtor relationships, and then CRA and fair lending. And so we went from our North Star being accuracy. We felt we accomplished that in the industry, and we looked at it and said, we need a UI UX that is very, very user-friendly, because we'd always sold on the enterprise side to the top of the house that could take analysts and go into our system. And now we want loan officers and individuals that are trying to build their realtor relationships, and branch managers are trying to recruit to be able to go in and feel comfortable and feel very intuitive in what we're doing. And so we developed that, just released it. It's gotten really good acceptance, and it's been a lot of fun. And then we did an acquisition of a company called Simple, which is a talent acquisition and management system strictly for recruiting. So it allows you to go in and manage your recruits, powered by Ingenius data, finding those recruits in a particular marketplace. Then it reaches out to them through text, through email, and through telephony, if you so wish. And it's proven in the marketplace by Fabi Nagmi. Fabi's with Animac. He went from last division in recruiting to the first by using this tool, but wanted to bring it to market, but had a day job. And so he talked to different data providers, and we struck a deal. They used our data, and so we struck a deal, and we'll be rolling that out in January.
That's fantastic. And so, I often, I've always been on since 2000, I've been on the sales side, right? And I remember going into clients' offices without much data.
Yeah.
And, my kind of go-to is you literally sit down across from a decision maker and you quickly try to scan the room for mutual subjects to kick off the conversation, right? Diplomas, trophies, signed baseballs, whatever you could try to figure out to see, okay, how am I going to start this phone call?
Sure.
And in this new world today, where all that data is available for you and the explosion of social media, it's just, you should not go into any sales call cold turkey, right? I mean, you should have everything that you need at your fingertips at this point.
Absolutely. What we like to think we do is create transparency in the marketplace. So all transactions are transparent. And so that ultimately it makes a more efficient market, and ultimately it makes a market that's better for the consumer. But I remember those days too. I was in mortgage lending for 30 years to begin with. When I started out as a loan officer and stuff, I remember going and chasing these realtors and stuff. And I had a realtor, I got referred to another realtor, and I working with the person and stuff. And it seemed like we had a really good rapport. Everything was good. And I'm like, why does this guy not send me any business? And it's like, turns out he doesn't do any business.
Yeah.
So now you can find out who's doing business, be way more productive. And you can do that on the recruiting side with loan officers, and you can do it on the realtor side with realtors as well, along with brokers. And then the even bigger on that is you can literally select, what kind of product they do, how much business they do, all those things that give you the ability to match the talents of your company up with the talents of that individual loan officer that you're trying to recruit, or that realtor that you're trying to prospect for, or the broker that you're trying to prospect. Am I wasting my time? Am I good for them? Knowledge is power.
Right. The idea that, my first sales manager said, the person that you walk into the office that has 30 minutes to sit with you and chat, they don't have the business that you're looking for. You need to move on and go find somebody else. But, on my side of the ledger, the last 2 years, we have seen explosive growth on the non-delegated side. Like quite literally, when I started, we had people that came in for a $5 million warehouse facility. And as we close out 2026, they're sitting there with $25 to $35 million facilities because they've exploded in the opportunity for growth. But what they're looking to do is they're always looking to add LOs. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of put on the hat of a broker owner who's in growth mode for recruiting talent, and tell me what value the data that you guys provide is bringing to them.
Yeah. So, one of the areas and stuff, and maybe this varies, but where do you find that the broker to non-delegated company or individual, do they transition to that? Do they do a particular product first? Is it concentrated in conventional? Is it, what's the makeup of that? Is that a factor?
Yeah. So I think what we see is a lot of people that came over, they moved over to the wholesale broker world maybe 2 or 3 years ago. They were in distributed retail or mega retail, however you want to call it. They wanted to get their feet wet to figure out, okay, what does the TPO world look like? Do I have the tech support and the knowledge support that I had previously at my previous home. And then they go, okay, well, I get how TPO works. I know how to broker. Let me start doing my conventional business as the non-Del. Let me start doing my refi business mostly as a non-Del, right? And then they're a little bit more hesitant to start with their purchase business. They don't know it like the back of their hand. They don't want to expose their realtors to maybe their lack of knowledge yet. So that's kind of the typical transition that we see.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can go out and look for those producers, those loan producers that you see you can transition to non-delegated. Because if you're making more spread on your non-delegated, right, and you want to grow that business, find the candidates that fit that business, right?
Yeah.
That allows you to do that. And then you have a very good proposition to that individual. You're brokering now, okay, but you come here, you can do non-delegated, and you're going to be with a company that's more profitable and more stable and can offer more things to you, right? So I would tailor it to knowing what they do and having knowledge of who the best fit is for somebody you want to take from broker to non-delegated. Or you find that are doing non-delegated as well, right?
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the real estate side of it, right? I think, you've been in mortgage sales for quite a while, like you said. Everyone's trying to figure out how to connect with that realtor. What is the solution that you've found as the opportunity that your data provides in order to get in front of the right realtors and the ones that are actually closing the transactions?
Well, first of all, who's doing the business, right? All right. And who's doing the buy side business, right? So you're looking for the buy side business. You're looking at individuals that are doing business. And then you say, what kind of business are you doing? What's your niche? What do you do that you think you do better than your competition? And you can focus on that and focus on those realtors that best fit what you do. In addition, you can look at your existing realtors and say, what are they doing? And are they sending me all their business? If they're not sending you all your business, why not? Where's the confusion in that stuff? Maybe there's a misunderstanding, but allows you to sit down with your existing realtors and have an intelligent conversation on where they're sending your business, right? So that and that you can increase.
Yeah, I think maybe the realtor might
also, if you have a mortgage services agreement or MSA with the here we are. Are we back? If you have an MSA with a particular brokerage, you can find out where they're sending all their business. It becomes transparent. So it helps you in a number of ways in having that intelligence.
So in your experience, do you find that realtors tend to pigeonhole their business partners on the lending side? Like, okay, that's my guy or girl for conventional loans, or that's my guy or girl for FHA loans. Is that typically what you see in your experience about how a realtor relationship works?
No, it can be. It just depends upon the realtor and stuff. But what we do know is that you can be the number one go-to person with that realtor, and you can be second with that realtor on maybe some of the product that they don't send to their first choice in terms of that. But you never want to be third, right? So third is a bad position. You're spending a lot of time only getting occasional, and you're not being as productive as you need to be. But it also tells you, okay, if I'm number two, who is number one, and why are they number one, and what are they doing differently, and what are they offering that's different? A lot of it's relationship driven, of course, but you have the insights and the transparency of that individual that you're competing with. So you know all about who your competition is and who else they're working with, right? And so you can also find out if they're not doing a particular product that your realtor is sending you, is that the same of their other realtors that they have? And then you can actually go after their other realtors and be their number twos over there as well. And then working your way into number one once the opportunity presents itself.
Do you have like a case study or someone or somebody that comes into mind over the last year that's really used your services to really change their book of business and kind of take us through without giving away the secret sauce? What did you notice that they changed and what worked for them?
So it clearly is that they started recruiting more at scale and actioning off of the analytics, right? So we produce the analytics, and then we allow you to integrate that or upload that data into a CRM. We're agnostic to that. And then you can recruit at scale. And when you start the opportunity of doing it than just yourself recruiting one-on-one, even if you're using data. If you're using data, but you can't use it at scale, it's a problem. And it's also a problem when it comes to retention, right? So let's say you're a loan officer and let's say you're a recruiter and you're trying to recruit a loan officer for somewhere else. And you're on the phone with them and you say, hey, I just sent you an email. I want you to open it up. And they're like, okay. They open it up and they go, what's all this? That's every single loan that you closed going back to January of 19. That's your database. And we can match and append that database with current contact information so that when you walk through the door, one, you don't get sued by your old employer, neither do we. And two, we're going to be marketing to your previous clients the day you walk through the door, right? And so being able to do that and get the loan level data that's accurate loan level data is really changed the game for retention. And if you look at the top 10% of loan officers in the United States, who do 60% of all the business, by the way, when you look at those people, they have their data house in order and they are marketing to their past clients. All in the top 10%. Those people have their data house in order. And that is a game changer. Everybody needs to do it if you want to stay in the game, or the gap's going to widen.
It sounds so simple, yet Ginger and I have in early 2025 we started doing this business practice webinar, like how to set up your business, write basically a business plan and a marketing plan, and go through everything that your morals as a company and everything that your action plan as a company. And it would be, the feedback that we got was pretty amazing, and it just pen to paper about how you want to grow. And it sounds like to me what you guys are providing is the ability for it to scale as much as you want to with regards to recruiting. Gone are the days where you can just cast a wide net and figure out, okay, let's see who I can get. You got to be targeted and very exact and really use the tools that the big boys are using in order to get people to join your team. Right? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's too hard to understand that you got to be a participant in the data today if you have growth mode as your example.
Yep. You have to be, and you have to scale yourself digitally. You can't do it on an analog basis. You can't do it on a one-off basis. It's got to be digital and it's got to be at scale. And that's how you're going to continue to grow your business to a much larger degree than you have in the past.
Yeah, the NBA did a 10 things every lender must do in 2026 webinar recently, just last week, and it's always something I look forward to. And they talk about the scalability heading into 2026, right? And this is something I've really harped on in the last couple of years. While rates have been elevated, we've certainly seen it. What happens when rates drop to the mid 5 handle, right? Here's what ends up happening in every cycle. I've been doing this since 2000, is that everyone forgets all their best laid plans that they made at the beginning of the year, and they just focus on the production that they want to do. And then when the production goes away, they go back to what they were trying to accomplish, right? But if you have a scalable solution, which it sounds like what you guys are providing, you don't have to put it to the side, right? If you teach things and you make it repetitive, sounds like you can continue to recruit and continue to add while you are also handling the production you're trying to bring in. Something that's very important, a balance between growth and current book of business is something that is necessary for all business owners.
Yeah, if you automate your marketing out to your current customers and also potential realtors, if you automate that and also your recruiting, you're going to have something that goes on without you having to do anything. and then it comes up in your feed, and then you react to it. You can do things, right? But it's working for you. It's not because you're busy doing refis, all of a sudden, if your past customers and rates dropped, you're still marketing, right? You can pay attention to it, particularly if it's purchase marketing, right? And you're getting purchase business off of it because you want to stay with your purchases, as you know.
I think that's the lesson I hope everyone took coming out of 2020, 2021. We all went hat in hand back to our realtor partners and said, "Sir, please, can we please have a loan? Can we please have a loan?" And our realtors were like, "Well, where were you in 2020 and 2021?" What's the big thing that you guys are looking for in 2026? You know, let's just say we're at the end of 2026 and we say, you know what, we accomplished this one thing that I'm very proud of. What is Ingenius looking to accomplish in 2026?
So what we're looking to accomplish is that we put somebody on our platform that is using it from end to end, right? Which includes using Ingenius 2.0, and then also having their loan officers use it at a level that is very helpful to them because the interaction is so intuitive and they find it valuable. And then you're also using our talent acquisition and management and recruiting platform in order to automate and to action off of those analytics. We want to see that whole flywheel being put together to where it's humming for all of our customers by the end of 2026. And that's everything we worked for this year to put in place for next year to get that complete ecosystem.
Do you find that the solution fits lenders regardless of size, 5-person shop to 500-person shop? Do you find that this solution is the right fit for all sizes?
Absolutely. And the reason that it's the right fit is that, you know, we're going to charge a large lender for the same data you get as a small lender. We're going to charge them a lot more because they're using a lot more of the data and more of the people are using the data. But you can get the same data that we sell to a top 5 bank in the country to a small shop. You can get the same data. Some of it you're not going to want necessarily on a 5-person shop, but certainly the data that you do want, and we give it to you. We don't break it up. You get it nationally, so you can do work anywhere you want, and you get this. I think you're back. Yeah, so you're getting the same data that a big shop is. You're just paying less for it because you're a smaller shop.
That's fantastic. All right, Jeff. Well, listen, you know, I don't know when this is going to go live. I wish you a wonderful trip to New Zealand. I hope you have a blast out there. I can't thank you enough for your time. Look forward to seeing you out on the conference tour as we head into 2026. And again, to everyone else, how does anyone get a hold of you, Jeff, and you and your team?
It would just be our website is ingenius-data.com, and I'm just Jeff at ingenius-data.com.
Fantastic.
Hold of us.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for
taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone for taking the time to watch this episode of Non-Del Influencer Podcast. Jeff, thank you again, and we look forward to connecting again.
Thanks for tuning into the Non-Del Influencers Podcast, powered by First Funding. For more resources and episodes, visit nondelinfluencers.com.